Hello, firstly apologises about the video I put up the other day that I ended up taking down pretty quickly. I put up the YouTube channel on one of my monitors so I could read the questions in the comments, and for some reason, though I'd paused the video, the sound from the video was playing in the background through the PC somehow. Fuck knows how that happened. But anyway, so I'm not going to use my phone today, and we'll give it a second go. First of all, just a little catch up to where things are. So, training wise, hit and miss. I'm doing a bit more high volume. Elbow feels a lot better. I ran BPC for about 2 weeks, 10 days, and saw some improvement, but I haven't been consistent enough to really test it. Been doing higher reps, not really more sets, but just higher reps. One of the reasons why my training is all over the place at the moment is that I've had like we all do, we have plans, we have aspirations, and non-bodybuilding related or anything else. But I was hoping to achieve one of my goals by the end of this year. I've had the opportunity to, which is one of the reasons why I'm pushing so hard work-wise, I've had the opportunity to actually achieve it early, but it's put a huge amount of pressure on me financially for the end of this month. So as a result, training's taking very much a back step, as I am literally just working every hour I can. I mean, it's Sunday evening, I'm down in my office doing videos. I worked all day yesterday. It's my choice, you know. At the end of the day, like I say, I've put myself in a position and put myself a little bit under the thumb screws, really. But if this works, I can take my foot off the gas a little bit moving forward. It's nothing overly fancy, so don't get rid of that. I'm buying a camper van and planning on sort of spending a bit of time away. Still be accessible online and all that crap, but just I wasn't planning on investing one to the end of the year. Opportunity came up to get one early, but it stretched me money-wise. Anyway, so this week, tomorrow I drive down to Croydon, to King's Gym, to do a session, possibly do another session with somebody else in Croydon. Then I'm over to Maidenhead, because on Tuesday morning I'm going to GW Pharma to visit their weed farm. I believe it's the biggest in Europe, but I will let you know once I've been, if it is or not. The guy that's the botanical director of GW Pharma, who, by the way, I believe are the biggest medicinal marijuana company in the world, is a mate of mine called Dr. David Potter. I met him through the police course that I teach on. So going down to his place for the day. Tuesday night I'm probably gonna either be back in Croydon or Tunbridge Wells clients. Then Wednesday morning I fly out to Northern Ireland to do a military job. Now, someone had asked actually in one of the questions what I do for the military, so I'll explain that now. Basically, the military test, and they test for prescription drugs, they test for various supplements that are not allowed, they test for steroids, and they test for recreational drugs, so coke, weed, all that sort of stuff. Now, they have a liability then to educate their staff on the testing, why they do it, etc., etc. So, I deliver drug and alcohol awareness presentations, and it's via a company called Galahad SMS, Substance Misuse Services. I've had the military contract for about 18 years, and they do all the drug and alcohol education for the Army, and a little bit for the RAF. Don't do anything for the Navy, apparently they don't have a drug problem. When the military introduced steroid testing, I was brought on board to do the steroid presentations. Budgets and all sorts of political reasons that I'm not going to bother going into have meant that the steroid side of presentations pretty much got dropped off about a year and a half ago, and even in general the whole of the drug presentation situation went down. It's been reintroduced, obviously Galahad are then providing it again, so I was re-employed, I subcontract effectively, to deliver drug and alcohol, and there's about 15 minutes on steroid and supplements on the end. So that's what I do. I go and I talk about the impacts of drug and alcohol, about harmful behaviours, and recognising problems and this sort of thing. So it's about 2 hours long as a presentation. And I travel from base to base. So I go out to Northern Ireland, Germany, Cyprus, Gibraltar, Falklands, and obviously up and down the United Kingdom. So Northern Ireland on Wednesday. So one presentation in the morning, one presentation in the afternoon. Then I fly back. That'll be Wednesday written off. Thursday I'm teaching on the police course in the afternoon, so I may try and do some client work in the morning, and then Friday we do mock courts, and then Friday afternoon I'm seeing a client in Crewe, and then back home, and it's the weekend. So there you go, that's what I do for the military. Other news, that's about it really. I don't think there's much else going on. I've just got my hands on some injectable glutathione. I think it's IV, but so I'm getting that. I tried some liposomal glutathione, and it did actually have quite a positive impact on my kidney function. It took it from 22 to 27, so that was good. So I'm now trying to up the ante. I have a renal consult on the beginning of July. So I want to sort of get a month of running it in, and then see what my bloods look like in July, and then I can discuss that with the renal specialist about if we can develop some sort of long-term plan with this stuff. Other than that, that's really it. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't think there's really much else to tell you on that front. So, without further ado, we'll get on to the questions. So let me go on my phone. I know I'm not prepared or organised in any way, shape or form, and I'm absolutely bloody useless. So, someone's asking, Janoy Karesva is asking, he wants to use Deca, but prefer not to use Prami or Keba. What's the most Deca he can go a week without worrying about gyno or prolactin? Right, prolactin causing gyno is a really disputed area. Medically, it would appear to be very difficult for it to happen, but anecdotally we see people with gyno symptoms that when they introduce Kebagoline, those symptoms go. So there's something potentially, but however, I think it's possibly more to do with the action of nandrolones, or NOR19 should I say, actually, to be technically. I do this a lot. I group Trembolol with nandrolone, and it's not. They're both NOR19s, but they're not both nandrolones. So bad habit of mine. NOR19s, and their binding affinities to certain aspects, particularly 5-HR, 5-alpha reductase, which in turn lowers DHT. DHT has a protective action at the nipple. So I think it's more that causes the issues with gyno from Deca or Tren, and not high prolactin, because prolactin will elevate with testosterone, prolactin will elevate with most steroids, to be honest, and if you actually look and test your prolactin when you're on a regular cycle, you might be quite shocked as to how high it can get. So I don't think it's prolactin that's the issue. I think it's the drugs that are at the issue with the gyno. Anyway, moving on from that, a good way of managing prolacto without using drugs is vitamin B6. So vitamin B6 supplementation will bring prolactin down quite well, and I've seen that in someone quite recently who was having problems with their works drug test. I didn't know this, but when I looked into it, I could see the mechanisms. Kebagoline can cause a false positive. So as a result, he had to come off Keba and was looking for alternatives. He looked at B6, and it was very successful in reducing his prolactin and didn't affect his piss test. So just bear that in mind if you are drug tested at work, that Kebagoline can cause a false positive. So that was that question. Moving on, the next one was Someone said I need a Labrador because I'm blind. How was I getting on with the BPC? Well, as I said, so far it seems to have improved, but I've not really tested it, though I'm doing higher reps with the same weights that were giving me more grief, so there's definitely been improvement there. Who's Walter White? Someone says I look like Walter White. I don't know who the fuck Walter White is. Someone's saying, why don't I do a vlog of big behind the neck press or something, do it drug free? Because I've no fucking interest, is the honest answer. I train more now, just sort of, I do enjoy it to a degree, not as much as I used to. I train to keep my hand in, I train for the general health benefits, but it's very much something that I just do. It's not something that I am. My focus has moved more towards what I do now, developing the business, the harm reduction stuff, and all that sort of thing. So I'm more driven that way, which means less time for training. Though, like I say, I keep my hand in. But I don't have the interest for that. I tried to do it as something to focus on when I'd stopped with all the big projects and everything else, and I just found myself go around in circles and just not really being into it. I have a lot going on now. I enjoy that. I have a lot of variety now. I enjoy that, and I get to spend a lot more time with my family, which was always a bit of a problem when I was so focused on training before. So now it's just something I casually pick up and drop off as and when I feel like. And the last question on this one was, could you tell me what I think of Brexit? I always said I would not discuss politics or religion on this channel, just because it always ends up in a mass mess. I will say this about Brexit: it's a fuck up. It's been a fuck up from day one. The country is very, very divided, and I'm quite shocked at how strongly people's opinions are in the fact that it's actually caused rifts within friendships and families. To me, that's ridiculous. You know, we all have differing views. All the politicians bullshitted. So yeah, the Brexit people bullshitted, and the Remain people bullshitted. In fact, all the scenarios or all the things that Remain party said would happen if we decided to leave haven't. But that's notwithstanding that there's things that the Brexit party said that would happen if we leave that haven't. And the whole handling of it has just been a load of bollocks. It's been absolutely fucking ridiculous. So I have very little faith in the British electorate at the moment. I have very little faith in British politics, all the politicians in general. Having said all that, I did, and I still do, sort of want to leave Europe, but probably not for the same reasons that most people do. I don't believe a member of Europe is an issue with immigration, and we can still tighten our borders if we want to. There's no problem there. Though I do think immigration should run along the lines of America or Australia or New Zealand, where you're more than welcome into the country if you're going to be of benefit to the country. That's not to say we close our borders to asylum seekers or people with genuine problems, but just that we are a little bit more selective about who we let in, and that the people that come to this country benefit this country. Having said that, there's a large number of people I would probably boot out of the country who are British citizens because they are of no benefit to this country. So if I had my way, there'd be a lot of people going that may have been born here, may have been 20 generations from the UK, but are no benefit to the country and could, for all I can say, fuck off. I just don't like being governed by another organisation outside of the country. And it's not even about EU policy. It's the same, like I've never really been sponsored. And I've had plenty of approaches to be sponsored now or to support certain products now. In fact, one of the companies I do work for as a consult had asked me to get involved with a supplement company in starting to recommend that company's supplements for health problems. And I just said politely that if they were going to go down that road, which they haven't done as it stands at the moment, that I wish them all the best with it, but I wouldn't be part of it, because I'm not being tied where I should or have to do one thing for the sake of somebody else because of that sort of attachment. And it's that sort of thing with the EU. I like independence. I like, as much as possible, to be responsible for my own actions and to make my own decisions. And I think as a country we should be in that position, and obviously we're not. EU law overrides things, EU law gets involved, the EU in general gets involved. As an organisation, I don't know enough about it to give a really politically correct answer. I'm not that big on politics, but that is just a baseline thing with me. And I like to be independent, and I like to have my own choices and live by the consequences of those choices. However, what I don't feel is that being in the EU or being out of the EU is going to cause the huge economic crash that everyone seems to think. I do think it's the uncertainty that rocks the markets, but I think once a clear decision has been made, strong and good businesses will survive. It's the nature of what they do. I mean, British Steel recently collapsed, and there were a lot of comment about that apparently because of EU law we couldn't prop it up. But then we shouldn't be propping it up, because British Steel should be an efficient industry. And it hasn't collapsed because of Brexit. If it's collapsed and it's the size it is, those problems have been coming for a very long time, and British Steel have failed to address them. And that's not the workers' faults as such. It's the management of that business that I would question. Yes, China produces cheap steel. Well, don't try and compete with them on price. Compete with them on quality. Look for new markets. Develop, advance. That's how a business survives. You can't throw money after money after money into a bad business. That's what the EU does with certain countries. You know, it's throwing money into Greece. Greece are fucking bankrupt. They bankrupt themselves. So fuck them. Their fucking problem. Why is that being propped up by other countries' money? Things like that I don't agree with. I think that, you know, we should to some degree make things self-sufficient. It's what I see to a large degree wrong in society. Kids fuck about, kids fuck up. They don't face the consequences of those fuck ups, so they don't learn. My own kids included. You know, when I was a kid, if I fucked up, I got belted by the old Bill, dragged back home, and then I got belted by my old dad for dragging home. And now I don't think you should beat your kids, but at the same time, there were consequences, and I had to face consequences when I fucked up. You don't get that now. You know, they talk to, explain why you feel like that way, explain why you act that way. Fuck that. If you're gobby to the bigger, older boy and you get a punch in the face, tough shit, that's not bullying, that's what you deserve, to be gobby and cheeky to someone who's bigger and older than you. And so it's all that train of thought, you know. As a country, I think we should be independent of our decisions, and then we should stand by our decisions, and we should accept the consequences of those decisions, whatever they may be. But I don't think any decision in this situation will ruin the country, because the country's got far too much to offer. We just don't sometimes believe in ourselves enough. We've got a wealth of talent and innovation, and as long as we do something with our own talent base, we'll be successful. So there you go. That's me on Brexit. Probably wish you never fucking asked now, aren't you? And I say it's got nothing to do with what the EU does for us or what we do for the EU or what it doesn't do for us. To me, it's just a gut desire to be independent. That's it. Well, as independent as you can be, because we're never truly independent. There's always a reliance on somebody or something. So, they were the questions off that video. So the next video I'll add some more in on whatever we're talking about at the same time as well. And other than that, take care folks, and I'll catch up with you soon.